The most romantic section of the Netherlands is that tiny province known as Zeeland, where time seems to have stood still and the costumes and customs of the people remain unchanged. Today, Vera, one of the quaintest and most serene of Zeeland's towns, seems to be sleeping, with happy dreams of a glorious and distant past, when her navies traded with the remote places of the world, and her sons went out to the four corners of the earth to establish colonies. Vera's charm has always endeared it to artists, who find in its quaint streets and costume peasantry pictures rich in color and romance. But one looks to the people for the individuality that makes Zeeland different from all other places in the world. In most of the villages, the Protestants and the Catholics have their distinctive costumes. This hat is the Protestant headpiece. The hats both of the male and female population are also a mark to distinguish the peoples of the different provinces. Even different pursuits or occupations are known in this way. Cleanliness seems to be the ruling passion of the Dutch housevrouw, and polishing and scrubbing are unceasingly carried on with a continuity and thoroughness unknown outside of the Netherlands. The people must of necessity paint their houses every year, for the paint is being constantly washed away. The pavements, as a rule, consist of very rough cobblestones. The industrious housevrouw may be seen at a regular hour every morning, scrubbing the pavements until the cobblestones shine as if polished by hand. It has been said that Saturday is always a great cleaning day all over the Netherlands, because it will not be possible to clean things again until Monday. And Monday is also a great cleaning day, because, of course, nothing has been cleaned since Saturday. Be that as it may, there is an old Dutch proverb which says, "When everyone sweeps before his own house, then are the streets clean." The children play mostly in the streets, and indoor games are almost unknown. Dutch children are among the prettiest and best cared for in the world. One peculiarity about their costumes is that no distinction is made in the style as regards the age of the wearer, for children and parents are dressed exactly alike, the only difference being in the gold or silver ornaments for which children are disqualified. The streets are filled with these young people, but one sees few babies. In fact, the very young and the very old are seldom seen in public. Dogs are generally used in Zeeland to pull the little carts in which most of the land commerce is carried on. They are usually well cared for and appear to enjoy the unique service which they render their masters. Wooden shoes are never worn in the house, and our habit of wearing our shoes inside the home never ceases to send a thrill of horror and dismay into the heart of the Dutch housevrouw. The wooden shoes are slipped off just outside the door, and the family goes about indoors in its stocking feet. So one can always tell how many people are inside the house by the number of shoes before the door. Zeeland is one of the richest agricultural provinces in the Netherlands, and it is noted for its picturesque and productive farms. A spirit of indescribable restfulness greets one everywhere, but underneath it there is a note of stolid determination, of thoroughness, of a desire to achieve prosperity, and through it contentment. The pastures are dotted with black and white cows, for the Dutchman will have no other. These great creatures appear to be more contented than the cows of other lands. They produce millions of gallons of milk, from which are made millions of pounds of cheese and butter, important commodities of the Netherlands, by which the Dutch farmer often becomes wealthy. Even the sheep contribute their share. Incidentally, weather-burned arms are considered a mark of beauty by the Dutch dairymaid. The redder her arms, the flatter her chest, and the broader her hips, the sooner will she be led by some happy young Dutchman to the village kirk. It is in Zeeland that one sees the hooded farmer's wagon, so reminiscent of the old American prairie schooners. But the Zeelander, with his love of color, lavishes brilliant reds and blues and greens upon his wagons. Even his horse is a colorful horse, for the breed distinctive of this section of the Netherlands is a light taffy color. Zeeland is a conquest made by man over the sea. It exists because the Zeelanders preserve it, and it will vanish whenever the Zeelanders shall abandon it. They now grow fruit and flowers and vegetables, where seaweed and marine life once thrived. Their object has been to claim it from the sea, to keep it, and to make it worth the keeping. The Zeeland farmer is a prosperous and peace-loving type. Great wealth he may have, but he is never ostentatious. The typical Zeeland girl is noted for her domestic achievements. Her life is generally restricted, monotonous, and laborious, yet sheltered, secure, and eminently comfortable. The most picturesque day in Zeeland is Sunday, for it is then that the country folk may be seen in their most colorful costumes. It is not unusual for a well-dressed lady of Zeeland to wear as many as 16 petticoats at a time. It is considered good style to have much plumpness below the waist, and when it is the work of nature, the lady is considered fortunate indeed. The peasant dress is rich and becoming, but there is one part of the costume never seen before in any other part of the world, and that is the bangles before the eyes, looking like horses' blinkers. These ornaments are made of gold and represent a small fortune in themselves. They are handed down from mother to daughter, even unto the third and fourth generation. And so life goes on among the modest and contented country folk of Zeeland, who live in a land of peace and prosperity, and find among themselves the simple elements of happiness which render to their little kingdom a semblance of paradise on earth. And it is with this thought that we say, farewell to Zeeland, the hidden paradise.